Hello, everyone, and welcome. It's Shanna. Today we're working with the Kat Scrappiness Holiday Lantern Stamp and Coordinating Die, and we've got the Holiday Lantern Autumn Add-on Stamp and Die set, and we're going to be creating a lantern card. So I'm going to just bring in some hammermill cardstock that I'm going to cut down that I can stamp all of these images on. And I've got a little bit of a stuffy nose. I think I'm starting to get a little bit of a cold. So if my voice sounds funny, that's what it is. So I'm going to take the lantern die and lay it down, and I've got the candles as well. And I've got the pumpkin and the gourd and the little floral bouquet, the acorns, and the other is cinnamon and the mushrooms. And I'm going to get it all inked up. I'm just going to use my Memento Black. Actually, I'm going to use my Versamark Nocturne ink for this, and I'm going to heat emboss it. The Nocturne ink is good and dark, but it will bleed a little bit if you're coloring. So I'm going to go ahead and use it, and I will emboss it with some clear embossing powder. You can see I've got a little spot there on my lantern. I think there might be a bubble, but I'm going to push it down and we'll get a good ink stamping. And there we go. So I'll just gently remove my paper, and then I'm going to bring in that Ranger clear embossing powder. I've just got some purple copy paper there that I'm going to collect it in. And we'll just get it ready for embossing. I'm going to cover all of my images a couple times with it just to make sure I get them good and covered. Oops. And we'll get this mess cleaned up, and then we'll get to embossing on it. So this video is actually going to air after the Kat Scrappiness holiday release, and I'll try to remember to link it up in my video here. Kat Scrappiness has got just a bunch of wonderful holiday products that they're releasing that I encourage you to check out. This is the fall. This is part of the fall release, and I'm still kind of playing catch up on it. But oh my goodness, for the holiday release, you've got a Nutcracker stamp set with a coordinating die and ephemera. You've got a cute little paper pack. You also have a center stage scene, so you can create a whole Nutcracker scene, and it's super cute. Now on these, I'm coloring, and I've sped it up tremendously. I've had to speed up different elements of this video just because some of the things I did took a little bit longer. I'm mostly using tri-blend markers. I did bring in a couple of my other alcohol markers for the candles just because I needed some different colors for them, so I brought those in. And I'm just doing some blending. I think I use all three colors on most images here. But anyway, back to the talking about the holiday. Hopefully you caught that video, but I will link it. But just so many cute dies, and there's like a winter scene with deer and some snow hills, and there's all kinds of ribbons and bows and all that. There is also I should have said this first, there is a Christmas add-on set for this lantern that is available too, a stamp and die set. And so I hopefully will get a chance to work with it again and show you how you can make this lantern fit a lot of scenes. It did also have the Halloween scene, Halloween add-on, which you had a skull and some different things. And I didn't get a chance to work with it at Halloween, and Halloween's passed, so I probably won't work with it in the meantime. But definitely the Christmas will be upcoming. I'll work with it as well for that. But so I'm just getting all these images colored in, and the tri-blend markers do help you to appear to be able to color better than perhaps what you might, or I should say I might, be able to do. So I really like using them. And then for my lantern, I am going to bring some of those other alcohol markers in because I wanted to use a couple of gray tones, and it will look black, fairly black, dark on my image here, but I try to stay away from complete black just because it's not very forgiving. And so I'm going to work with the gray, a couple gray tones on this. I'm taking my colorless blender and kind of cleaning up some areas where I got out of line. That's what I'm doing right now. Adding some darker highlights with a darker gray and just darkening this lantern up a little bit. Now the die just cuts the lantern out like at the outer edge. But because I've stamped and colored my candles, I'm going to actually cut the window part of the lantern out so that you'll be able to see my elements that are sitting behind it. Now you can stamp the candles down and then the lantern over it and create a way to do that. You could also stamp the lantern, mask the X's off, but I thought that'd be a little bit tedious. So I'm going to actually cut that out. I've got a little handy tool that I'll use to cut that out, and it'll work out just fine. So I'm just taking all the dies and getting them laid down on here, and I'm taping them so they don't move. Try not to be lazy because sometimes they'll move on you and mess up your image. And getting the acorn and the gourd and just everything. And these dies are nice. They line up real nicely. And when you've got that embossed edge around there, it helps you even more to line them up because there's a little bit of a ridge there that the die can kind of nestle up next to. And here we've got everything laid down. There's even a die for the sentiments in this set, so that's really nice. I like when you've got a die for your sentiments, it makes it super easy. So we'll just get it laid down on there and get it taped down, and then we'll have it. So I've got a hop coming up. This will actually air after it for Kinder's Card Challenge, and I thought I needed some gold paper, and so I didn't have any. I ran to Hobby Lobby. It was a certain size that I needed because I'm doing a 2-sheet wonder, and I ran to Hobby Lobby, and my sister works near there, and I said, hey, what are you doing after work? So she met me there, and we did a little shopping, and it was getting past dinner time, and she's like, well, what are you going to do for dinner? So she had a coupon for Texas Roadhouse. So we wound up going there and having dinner, and it was really nice last night, which was Friday night. And so we did that, and then we both went home, and I watched Craft Roulette, and it actually got done just shortly after 9. It was kind of a quicker one, and I felt this cold was coming on, so I took some cough medicine and went to bed like at 9:30. And so I'm just trying to kind of heat it off so it doesn't get any worse. But definitely a little bit stuffy and had a little bit of a sore throat. So hopefully it won't get any worse than this. Now I'm taking this little tool, and I'm just, it has a blade on there that swivels. So you can kind of use it like a pen. And I think it works pretty easily. I've enjoyed working with it. I haven't done it much on my videos. I'll link it in the description box below. I can't remember what it's called, but I'll link it in the description box below so you can check it out. But I'm just cutting those windows out. And you could see the light change in my video, and I did put in the little note there that this was the next day. I was crafting at night on it, and then we had a little jewelry party that we went to, and you can see where below my watch there, I got a couple of they call them permanent jewelry. I got a couple of those, and so we went to that party that night. So I stopped crafting, and then the next day picked it back up. So that's why the lighting changed, because I'm on natural light now where I was on my overhead light. But we had fun. We went to this little party. It's my daughter had it, and my sister and I and my girlfriend went. And of course, she had other people as well. But we got permanent jewelry. So I've got two little dainty little bracelets there on my left hand, and I thought they were super cute. I went with a silver one, and then a gold one because I do mix my jewelry colors. So here I'm going to bring in some of the Kat Scrappiness faux glitter paper, and I'm trying to decide what color I'm going to go with. And I actually die cut one color out, and then I decide to go with another color once I get everything. I actually think that I wind up using some additional just regular cardstock and not the glitter. So this is the fall frames, and it's got a stitched detail on both pieces, and I like to have a little bit of stitched detail. I think it makes for an interesting card. And I am trying to remember my nested dies to use them more frequently. And here's where I bring in some Spellbinders Tuscan, and I think it'll look good layering this up. And I'm going to use the smaller frame for that and just put it on the inside of that. And so you'll just have a little bit of that burlap stencil poking out there that I used to stencil it up. And I think it layers nicely. Now I think is where I'm looking at it. I'm like, I don't think I like that faux gold. And so I've decided that I'm not going to use it. And I think, for a minute that I'm going to use a full piece of, well, actually I'm going to look at a couple different colors of the faux cardstock here. And it's just not what I want to use. So I bring in another full panel of that Tuscan, and I'm about to use it, and then I see where I had die cut that out. I see that piece, and I'd laid it very carefully in the center thinking I would use it for maybe a shaker, but I'm actually going to use it to back this and save my cardstock. I like to try and be efficient when I can with my materials, because let's face it, our dies last forever for the most part, and our cardstock and our card bases, run out. So I try to be really efficient. And I got a little carried away with the glue here. I wasn't thinking about the corner on the top there. So I'll clean that off, and I moved it. And I'll just clean that glue off and get it laid down on there. And then I'm going to layer this up. And so we'll have a couple layers of that nice stitched edge around it. And then we've got our base for laying our lantern and all of our goodies down on it. And I think the Tuscan and that burlap stencil really seems very fallish. And so you can see I'm going to lay my lantern down right over my candles. I'm just trying to figure out placement before I start gluing anything down. And I decided to just put some glue on the back of my lantern, and then I can just turn it over and wiggle my candles around so I can get them how I want them. And then just kind of let them dry a little bit on there. Double checking. And I thought it's fine if my stuff, if my other elements show behind there, because, if they were sitting behind a lantern that had 4 windows in it, you would be able to see them through the window. So still just playing around with all of my elements, trying to figure out how I want them. And then we'll get them all laid down on here. I think I wind up making a little bit of a change. I put the acorns, I think, on the other side, but just try to get an idea of how I can fit everything together. I'm going to pop up some of the images as well, just to add some dimension to it. But I'm going to get the pieces that I'm going to glue down first. I've just got some thin strips here. And we'll just get our lantern popped up. And I had to cut it in half because I cut that window out. I've got some real thin areas that I need to put some strips on, so I'm just cutting it in half. And we'll get the release paper removed and we'll get it laid down on here. And there we go. So we'll get this laid down on there. And I think we've got a nice little scene here. Now I've got the acorns that I'm going to pop up as well. And I originally thought I was going to lay them on the side with the gourd, but then I think I wind up putting them with the pumpkin on that side, and then we'll put the cinnamon on the upper left-hand side. We'll just pop it up and put it up there. And so we'll have 3 on one side and 2 on the other, and then we'll have our cinnamon. And I think it turned out really pretty. Now here I'm just showing you where I stamped the candles underneath and then the lantern over it. So thanks for watching. Have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.